Okay, our live streams are up. Page 46, we're going to start with Hine Matov. Hine Matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Page 48, we're going to join together from Moshe Ani. Moshe Ani Lifanecha Melech Chai V'Kayam Shehechazarta B'Nishpati V'Chemla Rabba Emunatecha. So I should say that this doesn't have volume control. So if it's too loud, I can do it with my voice. If it's not, I can do it with the mic. What do you guys prefer?
Voice is good.
Voice is good?
Yeah.
You're sure? Okay.
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, if I can hear you, you're good.
Okay, good.
If I hear you, I'm good.
All right. Page 48, we're going to join together in English. Blessed are you, O eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who's made our bodies with wisdom, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network. Wondrous fashioner and sustainer of life, source of our health and our strength, we give you thanks and praise. Blessed are you, O eternal, who heals all flesh and does wonders. The soul that you've given me, O God, is a pure one. You created and formed it, breathed it into me, and within me you sustain it, and you will hereafter take my soul to life everlasting. So long as I have breath, therefore, I will give thanks to you, O eternal, my God and God of all ages, master of all creation, ruler of every human spirit. Blessed are you, O eternal, in whose hands are all the souls of the living and the spirits of all flesh. Page 50. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Together. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot and has commanded us to engage in words of Torah. Eternal our God, make the words of your Torah sweet to us and to the house of Israel, your people, that we and our children may be lover of your name and students of Torah for its own sake. Blessed are you, O eternal, the teacher of Torah to God's people, Israel. Page 51. These are the obligations of whose fruit we eat in this world and whose full reward await us in the world to come.
To honor our mother, to tend the house of Sanctuary, to welcome the stranger, to visit the sick, to welcome the bride and groom, to accompany the deceased, to pray with sincerity, to bring peace when there is strife. The study of Torah is equal to them all, because it leads to them all.
Page 52. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who's implanted mind and instinct within every living being.
Amen. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who has made me Israel.
Amen. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who's made me free.
Amen. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who has made me in the divine image.
Amen. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who opens the eyes of the blind.
Amen. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who provides clothes for the naked.
Amen. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who brings freedom to the captive.
Amen. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who lifts the fallen.
Amen. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who makes firm each person's steps.
Amen. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who girds our people Israel with strength.
Amen. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who crowns our people Israel with glory.
Amen. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who gives strength to the weary.
Amen. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who removes sleep from the eyes and slumber from the eyelids.
Amen.
Page 55, we join together. Blessed is the one who spoke and the world came to be.
Blessed is God.
Blessed is the source of creation.
Blessed is the one who said to dust,
Blessed is the one who decrees and fulfills.
Blessed is the one whose compassion covers the earth and all its creatures.
Blessed is the one who pays proper reward to those who revere in God.
Blessed is the one who lives and endures forever.
Blessed is the one who redeems and saves.
Blessed be God's name.
Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, the merciful parent, extolled by the words of God's people, praised and glorified by words of pious servants. And with the songs of David, your servant, we will praise you, O eternal our God.
With praises and songs, we will magnify and laud and glorify and declare your sovereignty and proclaim your name, our ruler, our God.
The only one, the source of life in the universe.
The Son, whose great name is praised and glorified to all eternity.
Blessed are you, eternal sovereign, extolled with songs of praises.
Amen.
Page 57. Tolu odot l'Adonai ula zamer l'shicha elyon l'hagiba boker hasdecha v'u'menateche ba'alelot. Page 60. The righteous shall flourish like palms, grow tall like cedars in Lebanon. Rooted in the house of the Eternal, thus shall be fresh and green, proclaiming that the Eternal is just, my rock in whom there is no wrong. Page 60, we join together for Ashrei. Ashrei Yoshevetecha Od Yalelucha Selah.
Shreyam Shtata Lo, Shreyam Tanai Lohal.
Tehillah L'David Erenecha L'Hai HaMelech V'Abrachah Shemcha V'Olam Ba'ed.
V'chol Yimavachet Na'ala Shimcha Le'olam Ba'ed.
Yadonai Umplom Me'od V'Ligduto En Cheker.
Dolodo Shabbat Ma'asecha V'Rotecha Yahidu.
Hadar Kavod Hodecha V'Divrei Nefotecha Asicha.
Ve'zus Rotecha Yomeu V'Latzcha Atzakwena.
Zecher Rachtufa Ya'abiu V'Sidacha Yiranenu.
Hanun Baruch Adonai, Erecha Chainu Gdol Chesed.
Tov Ranai Lakol V'Rachamav V'Kol Ma'asav.
Yidruch Adonai Kol Ma'asecha V'Tzitecha Yivarchucha.
Kavod Malchutecha Yomeru V'Geretecha Yagidu.
L'hodil B'nei Adam Gvotav U'chvod Hadar Malchuto.
Malchutecha Malchot Ko'olamim U'Memshaltecha B'Kol Dor V'Ador.
Somech Adonai L'chol Hanoflim V'Savei Kol HaKfufim.
Enei Kol Elecha Yisaberu Ve'ata Notem Lechem Et Ochlam B'Yitov.
Hoteach Et Yadecha U'Matzil L'chol Chaim V'Atzon.
Tzadik Adonai B'Kol Deracha V'Chasib B'Kol Ma'asav.
Karov Adonai L'chol Torah L'chol Asher Yikra'uhu V'Yemet.
Ratzon Yireh Yaseh Ve'et Shavatim Yashmin V'Yoshe'en.
Shomeh Adonai Kol Ahova Ve'et Kol Hashem Yashmid.
Tehillat Adonai Yidaber Pi V'Yivrech Kol Basar Shem Kodesh L'Olam Ba'ed. V'Anach Nivarech Yam Yata V'Yavolam. Hallelujah. Page 65. Let every living soul bless your name, O eternal our God, and let every human being acclaim your majesty forever and ever. Through all time and space, you are God. We have no sovereign who redeems and saves, helps and supports but you. God of all ages, ruler of all creatures, master of all generations, extolled by a magnitude of praises, the one who guides the world with loving kindness and the creatures with tender mercy. The Eternal neither slumbers nor sleeps, but rather wakes the sleeping and arouses the dormant, gives speech to the silent and releases the bound, and supports the fallen and raises those who are bowed down. To you alone we give thanks.
Though our mouths should overflow with song as the sea, our tongues with melody as the roaring waves, our lips with praise as the heavens white as space. And though our eyes would shine as the sun and the moon, our arms extend like eagle's wings, our feet speed swiftly as deer. Still we do not fully thank you, eternal our God and God of all ages. Bless you enough for even one of the infinite kindnesses, miracles, and wonders, but both for our ancestors and for us.
That for limbs and spirit and soul and tongue shall join to thank, bless, praise, and extol your name. For every tongue will yet affirm you, every knee will bend, and all the upright shall bow to you, and every heart will revere you. And our innermost being shall sing praises to your name. As it is written, all my bones shall say, Eternal, who is like you. And David sang, Bless the Eternal, O my soul, and let all that is within me bless God's holy name. God, you are tremendous in your power, great in the glory of your name, mighty forever and awesome in your works, the sovereign, supreme, and exalted. Page 67. God abides forever, and God's name is holy. Therefore let all who are righteous sing God's song. As it is written, sing the righteous to the eternal. The upright do well to acclaim the divine.
The mouths of the upright shall be acclaimed, and the works of the righteous you shall be blessed. On the tongues of the pious you shall be sanctified, and in the midst of the holy you shall be praised.
and the assembled hosts of your people, the house of Israel, and every generation glorify your name in song.
May your name praise forever ourselves, the great and holy God, ruler of heaven and earth.
Blessed are you, eternal our God, sovereign, extolled in the souls, who praises great, God of thanksgiving, master of wonders, creator of souls, who delights in hymns, a song, the only ruler, the light in the universe. We rise to the Hatzikadosh on page 68. Yizgadal v'yizgadash Shemei Rabba V'yalmadi brach Yosei v'yamlich malchusei V'chayekonu v'yoymechon V'chayelecho Beis Yisrael Ba'agala Uvizmon Karib V'emaru Amen Yamei Shmei Rabba Mivorach V'yolam Maya Yisbarach Yisbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yisbar, v'yisramam, v'yisnasei, v'yisadar, v'yisalem, v'yisalam, shemei l'kudashah, v'reihu, le'olam yichol b'rchasa v'shirasa, tushbechasa v'nechemasa, damiran v'yalma, v'yamaru, amen. Page 69 for the Baruchu. Baruchu es Adonai, Amevorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamavorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Leolam Va'ed. Page 70. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Yotzer or of Rei Choshech l'seh shalom l'breis hakol. Blessed are you, O eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who forms light and creates darkness, who makes peace and creates all things. With compassion, God gives light to the earth and all who dwell there. With goodness, God renews the work of creation continually day by day. How manyfold are your works so eternal, in wisdom you made them all. The earth is full of your creations. As it said, praise the one who makes the great luminaries, for God's love endures forever. Blessed are you, O eternal, who forms the radiant lights. You loved us with a great love, eternal our God. With surpassing compassion, you've had compassion upon us, our parent and ruler, for the sake of our ancestors, who trusted in you, and to whom you taught the ways of life. Bestow grace upon us and teach us. Our parent, the merciful one, who performs acts of kindness, have compassion upon us, and instill in our hearts the desire to understand and discern, to hear, learn, and teach, observe, and perform, and fulfill the teachings of your Torah with love. Together, enlighten our eyes with your Torah, and let our hearts cling to your mitzvah. Unite our hearts to love and revere your name, so that we never be shamed. And because we've trusted in your great, holy, and awesome name, may we be glad and rejoice in your salvation. Bring us in peace from the four corners of the earth, and lead us upright to our land. For you are a God who performs acts of salvation, as you've chosen us from all peoples and tongues, bringing us close in your great name forever in truth, so that we may be able to proclaim your unity in love. Blessed are you, O Eternal, who chooses the people of Israel in love. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Yivod Ma'ilhuso, Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated for the Bial Hafta on page 74. V'yafta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shnatan levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shitecha v'beitecha u'v'letecha v'derech Ushachlecha, Ukomecha, Ukshatam Leot Aliadecha, Yahayu Letosafot Beinenecha, Uktatam, Almazuzois Beitecha, Ubisharecha, Leman Tiskiru, Vasiten, Ekomisotai, Beiten Hiroshim, Elohechem, Ani Adonai Elohechem. Asher hotzeiti etchem mi'aretz Mitzrayim le'ot lahem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. True and enduring, beloved and precious, awesome, good and beautiful is this eternal teaching.
This truth we hold to be forever certain. You chose God as our ruler, the rock of Jacob, the shield of our salvation.
God abides through all generations, and God's name is eternal. God's throne stands firm. The divine sovereignty and faithfulness are everlasting.
God's word lives and endures, true and precious to all eternity.
Eternal our God, you redeemed us from Egypt.
Set us free from the house of bondage.
For this your beloved praise you, exalting God in song.
Your dear ones offer hymns, songs, praises, blessings, and thanksgiving to you as sovereign, the living and enduring God.
High and exalted, mighty and awesome, who humbles the proud and raises the lowly, who frees the captive and helps the oppressed.
Who answers God's people when they cry out.
All praise to God Most High, the source of blessing. Like Moshe and Israel, we raise our voices in the joy of redemption, and we sing as one. Mi chamocha ba'alim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar v'kodesh, nora zelot osei feleh, shira hadasha shebechu gilim, v'shimcha svat hayam, yachad kulam chodichu v'chim v'chu v'yamru, Adonai Elot le'olam va'ed. We rise for Sor Yisrael. You don't have to, but if you want help.
Okay.
Okay. Alright. Sor Yisrael, Kuma be'ezrat Yisrael, Uvdei Mecha Yehuda v'Yisrael. Go Aleinu Adonai Tzivaot Shemo, Kadosh Yisrael. Gal Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael. Sorry, I missed that. Page 78, we're going to join together for the Amidah prayer. Adonai Shefatai Tiftachu Fi Yadi Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu V'Elokei Avotenu V'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imavot, U'Mevi Gilula Lifnei V'Em, L'man Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Magin, Baruch atah Adonai Magin Avraham Mizrat Sarah, Atah Gibor L'Olam Adonai Mechayei Kol Atara V'Hoshia, Mashiach Ruach U'Merida Geshem, Mekakel Hayim V'Chesed, Mechayei HaKol V'Rachamim Rabim, Soimek Noflim V'Rofei Holim, Umatir Asurim, Omekayim Emuasa Oli Shenei Afar, Michamocha Bagiruros, Umido Melach, Melech Memit, Umekayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atale HaHayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh HaKol, Nekadesh et Shimcha ba'olam, Ki Shem Shema Gishim Oto B'Shmei Marom, Kakatuv Al Yadiyecha, V'Kara Shel Zeh V'Amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzivaot, Melech Haaretz, Devodo, Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonenu, Madir Shimcha B'Chol Kol Haaretz, Baruch Kivod Adonai, Mimkomo. Echad hu Eloheinu hu Avinu hu Malkeinu hu Moshiach v'hu Yashmienu v'Rachamav Shnei L'nei Kol Hai. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Yimloch Adonai Le'olam, Elohai Yiszion, Ledor Vador, Alleluia. Ledor Vador Nagid Godlecha, Olanetzach Netzachim, Kedushatcha Nakish, V'Shivacha Eloheinu V'Pinu Lo Yamush Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. We daven silently until page 88. going to now turn to page 88 for Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, 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 v'yemeru, amen. I'd like to call up, well, actually, maybe we're not. Harriet, actually, would you like to read on page 97? There's a prayer for Israel.
Is that the Gabai's prayer?
It is Gabai's
Is
prayer.
that the one they read last night?
It is, yes.
Okay, I would like to.
Okay.
Bless, O God, this congregation, those who lead and serve it, those who contribute to its strength. Bless all who enter this house, that the worship offered within its wall may be worthy of your greatness and your love, and that all who seek your presence here may find it. For the joy of community, the gift of diversity, the vision of harmony, we offer our grateful thanks. Bless our land and all its inhabitants. Prosper us in all undertakings. Be with those who have chosen to lead us, that they may strive to establish justice and opportunity for all, and labor to bring peace to the family of nations. Bless the household of Israel, wherever they dwell. Be with us here, where we worship you in freedom. And may those who live under oppressive rule, find release and liberty speedily in our own day. May your favor rest upon Israel, her land, her people. Protect her against hatred and war. Grant that the promise of her beginning may ripen into fulfillment, bringing comfort to those who seek refuge, light to those who dwell in darkness, new hope to all humanity, and let us say,
Amen.
Amen.
Our thoughts now turn to those in need of healing of mind, body, and or spirit. Most pressing, many of us are thinking of those injured in Israel at this time. Over the past few days, numbers have fluctuated. First it was hundreds, now it's thousands, it's 2,500. Just about a day ago, I'm sure that it is even higher today, but every day the numbers rise. So we're going to turn to page, very back, we're considering Tanisha Be'erach prayer. I'd like to ask if there's any names anyone has in mind of anyone in need of healing of mind, body, and or spirit. Go ahead.
Karen McBriarty
Karen McBriarty,
and Harriet Kunzman.
Harriet Kunzman. I'll add a name, personal effect here. While studying in Jerusalem,
Here's what I found.
I don't know why it's doing that. My iPad apparently just wanted to have a mind of its own. So this is a very exciting moment for me because I'm showing the first sentient life of free will in a device. And on the one hand, I'm a little bit upset because I'd like to end the free will of the device, and on the other, I'm kind of mesmerized, and I don't want to end its ability to have free will unto itself. It'd be killing something, and I don't really want to do that. But in order to preserve order, I have to return to the service and get to the correct page of the
I wonder if God thought that about us. What's happening to this
Free
creation?
will.
I didn't think it was gonna
I
go.
didn't think it was going to go this way either. Okay, so a personal effect here. While studying in Jerusalem during my rabbinical seminary training, there was there's a school that many of us study at. I studied at for a little bit of time as well. It's called Pardes, and the dean of our rabbinical school, after the year in Israel I'd spent in rabbinical seminary, he ended up going to Pardes, and he asked me as he was making the transition about the director of education at Pardes, name escapes me at this time, but her last name doesn't. It was Poland. It is Poland. And he asked if I bared any familial connection to them. I said no. He told me a little bit about the family. This week I found out that their son has been kidnapped and is being held right now in Gaza. His last name is Hirsch. His first name is Hirsch. His last name is Poland. The last recorded account of him was that he, while being kidnapped, there was a grenade thrown at him. He took the grenade as it was thrown at him and his friends, and returned throwing the grenade, and by doing so, he saved all of his friends. Unfortunately, the grenade detonated. His hand and his arm was severely mangled and dismembered. Palestinian terrorists took him, and he is now, last we heard, in Gaza. My thoughts in particular are brought to mind of him in particular as we're saying the Mi Shebeirach prayer today. I'm praying that he is released speedily and that he can recover. With that thought in mind, though, if there's anyone else or any of the people in Israel that we're thinking of right now, this is a time that we may offer the Mi Shebeirach prayer found at the very back of our series.
I think all of them, they're
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Okay. Mi Shebeirach Avotenu Mikor Abraham Le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi Shebeirach Imotenu Mikor Abraham Le'amotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Okay, so we're now going to turn to words of Torah. You guys would like, it may be a little bit more appropriate, I'm going to go stand up on the bima because, yeah, if you want to redirect the chairs, or you can sit right there, either one is fine. I'm just going to make the statements about our Torah portion, really more specifically about Israel from on top of the podium today. So I'm going to share, okay, I will turn it on. So I'm going to share the words that I shared yesterday with our solidarity with Israel, the state of Israel. If you recall, our service from yesterday included dignitaries, speakers locally from both the Federation as well as representatives from Monroe Township. We had State Senator as well representing New Jersey. And there was a break in all of the speeches towards the end. And it was the time that normally we would ask for someone representing Israel to speak. And understandably, our resources in Israel are spread thin. So today and yesterday, I'm going to give a sermon as not just as a rabbi, but as an Israeli citizen. Share the same words I shared with everyone here yesterday. So tonight I feel pain, anger, and so much loss and sorrow. I'm drained of those emotions. We continue to count our dead in Israel. And processing trauma is one of the hardest things to do. It is a holy responsibility we're called upon to do in synagogue here today. Our candles are still lit from yesterday, mourning the deaths of 1,300 Israelis. There is a single candle for each 100 Israeli there. Feelings provide us with valuable information. If we place our hand on a hot stove, the sensation of heat, along with the burning of skin cells and nerves, it tells us to remove our hand. If we feel hungry, we eat. If we bleed, we feel pain. When we get cold, the body has a mechanism to try and boost our core temperature when it gets chilly. Our muscles, they shiver, our teeth, they shatter, and our hairs, they rise and form goosebumps on our skin. So imagine if our bodies lack the ability to feel heat, cold, or pain. Being subject to such numbness would prove to be a curse to our existence and may even make our lives harder to survive. So we, the Jewish people and the state of Israel, are an organism. When we feel symptoms, we react. And in the hours following the massacres in Israel, I received phone calls from family, loved ones, and friends. And I was hearing from fellow Jews who wanted to hear from both a rabbi and a citizen of the state of Israel that there was an antidote for such terror, a vaccine to prevent the spread of an ailment, of a virus ravaging our people that so heartlessly and callously took away holy souls. Anti-Semitism has always existed in our world, and some have always felt it here, while others have not. However, the attacks in Israel are different from what we as Jews in Israel have historically experienced. A pogrom, that is a mass slaughter of Jews, had never occurred in Israel before. Jews had never been victims of a massacre on such a large scale ever in Israeli history. The very creation of the state of Israel, it was an assurance of our safety and security, the security of our people from anti-Semitism, from ancient Jew hatred, and against pogroms. And today we question the safety of all we have held sacred. Our feelings are telling us something here today. Those feelings I spoke about upon the opening of today's discussion. Those feelings that are needed for survival. Today we feel anger, we feel upset, we are sad. And we must fight the infection ravaging our bodies. We must react to the attack felt upon us. And this infection is not limited to our community. It has spread among our brothers and sisters in many nations. It is currently an epidemic in the world right now that has manifested in the form of ancient Jew hatred and anti-Semitism within the Jewish organism, but others know it equally well and call it by a different name, a name known terrorism. On October 7th, during the ending celebrations of Sukkot, a carefully orchestrated terror attack was made against Israel by the terrorist organization Hamas during our holiday observances. The attack infiltrated Israeli borders, safety, and security. And as of today, the death toll of Israelis has been reported of well over 1,300 murdered and well over 2,500 injured. Over 150 civilians are believed to have been kidnapped, and they include mostly women and children in Spanish nationalities, including many Americans, including Hirsch Poland, who I was talking about earlier. What I say next is disturbing, but it should be. However, I fear the world does not know the crimes that are being committed today. As part of the terrorist plot of disturbing Israeli and Jewish life, Hamas has disseminated onto the internet videos of the attack upon innocent civilians, including women and infants, onto Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. The videos shared oftentimes on live stream by the terrorists include Hamas parading the bodies of civilians, captured Israeli children in cages, into the streets of the heart of Gaza as trophies. And in Gaza, large crowds of Palestinians awaited them, cheering Allahu Akbar, God is great in Arabic. The paid advertising for the social media accounts associated with these videos have deliberately targeted Israelis online. And as a result, I've seen these videos personally. They've been directed towards myself and other Israelis and Jewish leaders online. Most heartbreaking for me was the bombardment of videos, in particular of one Israeli boy, my son's age. On October 8th, a video emerged of a young Israeli boy appearing confused and alone after being kidnapped in Gaza by terrorists. And in the video, he calls out, Abba, Ima, Mom, Dad, as he's being abused by Palestinian children. And upon seeing these images and videos, I was and still am to this day deeply traumatized. These videos and pictures have etched their way into my mind, and they would take years for me to process. My birthday was on October 8th, and after seeing the videos of that young Israeli boy abducted into Gaza, I was not with my son. He was with my parents, and he was preparing for my birthday on October 8th. He baked me a cake, he wrapped me gloves and gift paper, and he wrote me a card. This was the most thought he was ever putting into any sort of event in his life. It was my birthday, previous birthdays, he barely understood the concept of. So I drove for whatever seemed to be an hour to see him. And when I saw Micah, he ran to me and I hugged him for what seemed to be an eternity. And I started to cry. Micah looked at me and said, "It's okay, Daddy. I made you cake today." And he asked, why was I crying? Explaining to a 5-year-old in child-appropriate language the circumstances of my tears was and is the hardest thing I've ever had to do as a father. I feel privileged that I have my son with me today. And since the early days of October 8th, there has been no word of any of those hostages. As a result of the attack and kidnappings and acting upon the pure interest of safety and security of its civilians, Israel has begun a bombardment into Gaza, demanding for the release of all of the hostages. Hamas yesterday declared a global jihad targeting Jews across the planet. And Hamas's charter is very clear. It has always called for the extermination of global Jewry. And I say all this to illustrate Israel is at war. It is at war with terrorism. And this is not a war of moral equivalences. It never was. There's not two sides to this conflict. Terrorism targets civilians, Israel targets terrorists. And for 15 some years in Israel, many of us imagined that the threats were contained somehow in Gaza and somehow redeemable with peace negotiations from a terrorist organization. Today, even the peaceniks among us see with fresh eyes. There's no possibility for peace with terrorism. Hamas and their terrorist ancillary organizations and entities must be neutralized should we ever have peace with our neighbors. Bear in mind this: Hamas has no measure of meaning to life for not just Israelis but Palestinians alike. Recall in 2006, after free and fair elections in the Gaza Strip, what happened to all the opposing political parties of Hamas. They were routinely executed and destroyed. I pray that peace comes, but as long as terrorism, blackmail, and kidnappers disrupt the peaceful existence of humanity, we can't know peace. In the upcoming weeks, will we hear terrorist demands to cease the defensive that Israel has marked against Gaza and abroad? And brothers and sisters, let me prepare you. We can't afford to stop. We can't afford to show mercy to terrorists. We can't afford another massacre or tolerate another hostage standoff. The privileges of Israeli freedom are tremendous, but so too are the associated responsibilities of our citizenship to the nation of Israel in national service and defense. I'm disturbed to see cities I'm familiar with, that I've lived in, become a war zone in Israel. In 2008, I lived in Kibbutz Nir Oz, one of the cities where hostages were kidnapped from. And during those same years, I was living in Israel. I served national service as a medic and periodically have returned to Israel throughout the years. Across the ocean, I wish there was more often than I could do. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has called upon all reservists to activate into the military. And upon hearing the news, I received a phone call from one of our congregants. She's sitting here today. It's from Harriet. And she called me with few details, but just a reminder of the wisdom of a Jewish grandmother. She said to me, Shmuel, your son is your priority. You're all he has. Be with him. Shortly after the phone call, I was added to a WhatsApp group for Israelis residing in the U.S., called upon for national service. And as many of them scrambled to catch flights, I was left with a decision. It was to stay or to leave. And reminded of the call that was made to me, and looking around the room that I saw here last night, filled to the brink at the very back. I know where I'm needed. I'm needed here. And Israel is fighting a war on all fronts. Our voice needs to be heard here, specifically in America, and not silenced. Tonight we feel pain, anger, sadness, pity, and fear, and I welcome those feelings amongst all of us. Our brethren here in America and abroad are experiencing many of the same symptoms we have with anti-Semitism. Are we not subject to the same diseases, healed by the same means, warmed and cooled by the same winter and summer touch as a Christian or Muslim? If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? If you wrong us, shall we not seek justice? Our justice may be to ensure that others will cower in fear if they seek to exterminate us or to kidnap us. Let today be an opportunity for us to join hands with our brethren and be united in the fight against the menaces of our people. Tonight I'm praying for the Israeli Defense Forces to swiftly neutralize the surprise attack that has disturbed the peace of our holiday season. I'm praying for the safety of Israel and every hostage being held by Hamas. For all those with loved ones in Israel, know that we as a community are here to support you. Tonight, let us come together for Israel and for prayers of peace. Can you hear us? May it be God's will. Amen.
Amen.
We're going to now turn to page 103 for the Aleinu. You may stand or sit for the Aleinu prayer on page 103. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol ateit gedula l'tzed reshit shalo atzam kikieh arasot v'lo samanu ki mishpachot ha'adama shelo sam kalkeinu kachem megor aleinu kichal amonam v'anachnu korim u'mishtachalim u'modim Lifnei melech malchei amlakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu She'onet v'shamayim v'yoser haaretz Moshe yekaro b'shamayim hima'al U'shchinatu zo v'gopei meroimim Hu Eloheinu ein od Emet Malkeinu et Kezulato Kakatu b'torato v'yadat hayom v'hoshevota ela bebecha ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim mima'al v'yal haaretz mitachad ein od. Page 106. We therefore hope in you, O eternal our God, soon to behold the splendor of your might. Then will false gods vanish from the earth, and the idols will be utterly cut off, to heal the world through the sovereignty of the Almighty. Then will all claim you as their God, and forsaking evil, turn to you alone. Let all who dwell on earth acknowledge that unto you every knee must bend, and every tongue swear loyalty. Before you, O eternal our God, let them humble themselves to your glorious name, let them give honor. Let all accept the yoke of your dominion, that you may rule over them soon and forever. For the dominion is yours, and you will rule in glory, as it is written, the eternal will reign forever and ever. V'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz v'yom hahu yihiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. You may be seated. Our thoughts now turn to members of our community who have recently passed. In just a moment, I'll be reciting our Yortzeit list, and then afterwards, I'll say a few more words. Today's Yortzeit list includes the following names: Marjorie Belzer, George Lewis, Diana Kasdan, Philip Axelrod, Noreen Ginsburg, Eva Hauser, Jacob Solomon, Gabriel Appelman, Herbert Friedman, Clara Appelman, Max Jacobs, Linda Bloom, Mary Kaufman, Mindy Mann, Irving Yokelson, Clara Rothman, David Hutter, Elizabeth Bodak, Charles Schulman, Peter Hutter, Dimitri Boyden, Barbara Silverman, Rebecca Cabrera. Are there any additional names that people would like to have to our Yortzeit list? Just take a moment now also to recognize the 1,300 Israelis, once again, who have been massacred over the past few days. As I noted earlier, our candles or memorial candles are still lit in front of us, noting one for each 100 Israelis that have been massacred. As indicated as well earlier, those numbers keep on changing, they're growing. We still are counting our dead in Israel day to day. Unfortunately, by next Shabbos, these numbers will no longer be the same. I'm praying that we don't have to add a single more candle to the list of names before us, though. The words of the Mourner's Cottage may be found on page 107. Yitzgadal v'yitzgadal shemei Rabbah v'yalma dirah hivutei v'yamlich machutei v'chayechon v'yoymechon v'chayedecho Beit Yisrael v'agalav izman kari v'yamru amen. Yahesh mei Rabbah mevarak l'olam olamei omayah Yisbarak v'yishtabak v'yispa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnasei v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudashah v'reichu Laila min kol birchata v'shirata tushvechata v'nechamata da'amiran v'yalma v'yimru amen. Yeshlam araba min shamaya v'chaim aleinu v'el kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom v'imroma v'huya oseh shalom aleinu v'el kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. And the memories for all those that we hold near and dear in our hearts, remain with us always, and let us say, Amen. You may be seated. We normally would ask for announcements at this time. We don't have a representative of the board. I can assure you though, let's see. This is a tough time for anyone. I'd like to remind, if there's anyone who would like to reach out to talk to me as they're going through mourning and loss, you may reach out to me anytime during the week. I'd like to note that yesterday we had a great support, showing of support from representatives and dignitaries from Monroe Township and from New Jersey, as well as I had spoken to Helmeta as well earlier in the day, and the mayor of Helmeta as well as Melissa Halleman wanted me to share with our community that they're reaching out to their ambulance corps associated with Spotswood to see if they may be able to help prepare supplies that may be able to be donated to Israel with Magen David Adom. So yesterday we had also introduced that we're trying to, and we will in the upcoming weeks, be asking for potential support to be donated to, specifically to Magen David Adom, as we're trying to gather resources for the Israeli ambulance service. I myself had worked as a medic in Israel, as that was also part of my national service, so I am familiar with Magen David Adom and the organization. This time there's not a lot of information about it, it's just an idea that we've already passed through with the mayor of Helmeta, and they're also prepared to support us in that endeavor. So be prepared in the next coming few days, if not weeks, to see a little bit more about that. Okay, so we're going to now turn to page 108 of our Sidurims, page 108 for Ein Keloheinu. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadoneinu, Ein Kimalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mi Keloheinu, Mi Kadoneinu, Mi Kimalkeinu, Mi Kemoshienu. Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adoneinu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adoneinu, Baruch Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Anyone would like to volunteer for the Hamosi as well as for the Kiddush?